Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is really to cut through the noise. The sources show this is one of the most emotionally charged weeks we've seen in a while. We're talking September 15th through 19th.
It really is. And the setup from the days just before, the 10th to 12th, that gives us some crucial context for the full-blown chaos that erupts.
Absolutely. So we're sifting through this stack of sources, detailing secrets, betrayals, and some really massive consequences, trying to give you the precise insights you need.
Yeah, distilling it all down.
And when you look at just the energy of this week, it's defined by these really extreme, kind of contrasting emotional states.
Right.
On one side, you got Carter Walton's raw, almost palpable desperation. He's trying to lock down his future, hold on to his engagement. It feels like a fight driven purely by fear.
Year of loss, definitely.
And then on the complete other side, you have Taylor Hayes. And the sources describe her feeling as absolute disgust. It's this like acid-tinged certainty about a betrayal she saw coming a mile off.
Such different reactions, but both incredibly intense.
Yeah.
And they're fueling these three separate plot lines that are all just colliding.
Exactly. 3 high-velocity tracks crashing at once.
And it's crucial because, like I said, the sources link back to those setup days, 10th to 12th. Oh. It's not just your typical romantic drama this week. We are watching 3 concurrent, explosive tracks.
Okay. What are they? Lay them out for us.
So first, there's the familiar but, wow, newly painful Ridge, Brooke, and Taylor cycle. You know the one.
Oh, we know it.
Second, you've got the incredibly unstable Hope, Carter, and Liam entanglement, which is now subtly shifting, becoming this kind of manipulative love quadrangle. We'll get into that.
Okay, interesting. A quadrangle.
And third, the plot with the highest stakes of all, I think. The deep-seated legal mess, the trauma involving Will Spencer, Luna Nozawa, Lev Finnegan, and Sheila Carter. That one's huge.
Right. So our deep dive today is really tracking how each of these moves from that initial setup into full-blown crisis this week.
That's the plan.
Okay, let's unpack the most familiar one first, even though it still feels incredibly potent. The Forrester, Logan, Hayes megadrama. We have confirmation Ridge has, well, for now, made his choice.
He has, and it's leading to this massive celebration on the Logan side.
And massive fallout pretty much everywhere else.
Absolutely everywhere else. Brooke Logan is completely basking in it. The sources are really definitive. Ridge has chosen her. Again.
And they use that phrase, hook, line, and sinker.
They do, which is such a wonderfully descriptive way to put it, isn't it? It suggests he's just fallen right back in. It's not just, okay, let's try again. It feels like a full commitment, at least emotionally, in that moment.
Right in the moment.
And Brooke accepted his marriage proposal, joyfully declared, we're engaged.
So celebrations. But the analysis in the sources suggests her immediate focus turns defensive.
That's right. The feeling is she is not going to wait around this time. She'll want to rush Ridge down the aisle right away.
Why the urgency, though? Is it just excitement or something else?
It feels more strategic, calculated maybe, based entirely on their history. Brooke knows, probably better than anyone, how volatile Ridge's commitment can be, especially when Taylor is actively, in the picture or feeling wronged.
So rushing the wedding is like locking it down.
Exactly. Formalize the commitment before any guilt or doubt or, frankly, external pressure from the kids can pull Ridge back towards Taylor. It's a defense mechanism. It's like a race against the clock of Ridge's own indecision.
Which, okay, leads to a potential problem right from the start. The foundation might be shaky. What do the sources say about that?
Well, they raise that critical, long-standing question, don't they? Is Ridge's pull towards Taylor, his persistent attraction, is it driven purely by guilt?
Guilt's over past hurts, yeah.
If you look at the pattern, historically, almost every time he reconnects with Taylor, it seems to follow some perceived failing on his part. Towards her, or towards Thomas and Steffi. So, if guilt, that regret over causing pain, is the main driver for why he keeps getting drawn back to Taylor, then this current, supposedly definitive choice of Brooke, it's already weak, isn't it?
It implies it's reactive, maybe. Like choosing Brooke is a relief from the pressure of the Taylor dynamic, rather than a fully proactive commitment.
Precisely. If guilt is the foundation for the Taylor side of things, that structure is inherently unstable. And the sources suggest that instability is exactly what Taylor sees immediately.
Which brings us straight to Taylor's reaction. Absolute disgust. That strong language is not new territory for her dealing with this triangle, but disgust, that feels different.
It does. It feels like it's moved beyond hurt into judgment. Her feeling of disgust signals that she views this latest flip-flop as a fundamental failure of character on Ridge's part, not just, bad luck in love.
She's completely disgusted he left her for Brooke again.
Yes. And her reaction seems rooted in this deep-seated cynicism. She's apparently quite certain Brooke is going to do Ridge dirty yet again. She sees their cycle as just eternally self-destructive.
So she's framing it less as he hurt me and more as he made a stupid, predictable mistake.
Kind of feels that way, yeah. Like it reflects badly on his judgment, and maybe she's almost detaching from the personal pain by focusing on that.
And Taylor's not the only one condemning Ridge here. Her son, Thomas, is apparently just as horrified.
Oh, Thomas is horrified, especially because, remember, he very recently confronted Brooke. He told her straight up, stay out of the way, stop ripping our family apart.
Right, he drew a line in the sand.
And now, boom, his parents are separated again, exactly like he feared, exactly like he warned against. The sources say Thomas is expected to be sick about the whole thing. For him, it's not just his mom's pain, it's the family unit shattering again, driven by the person he sees as the villain in the story.
Now this is fascinating. Taylor's reaction to Thomas's expected anger. The sources say she may try and calm Thomas down to some extent, but privately. She feels differently about Ridge taking the heat.
Yes, this is really significant. Privately, she essentially thinks Ridge has earned whatever misery comes his way from the kids. She feels he deserves whatever kind of backlash he faces from Thomas and Steffi.
Wow, so she's not protecting Ridge from their anger.
It doesn't sound like it. By kind of quietly sanctioning their frustration, Taylor is stepping back. She's not managing their disappointment this time. She's letting that righteous anger hit Ridge squarely. It's almost passive-aggressive, isn't it?
It really is. Like she's leveraging the kid's pain to hold Ridge accountable because she can't or won't directly anymore.
Making sure he feels the full weight of his decision breaking up the family.
Yeah.
Again.
Which sets up a potential huge confrontation, especially because Steffi's return is imminent.
But hang on, before we get there, let's quickly touch on that connection that the sources make Carter seeing a parallel here.
Oh yeah, that's a nice bit of narrative symmetry the sources point out. Carter, stuck in his own crisis, sees Ridge torn between Brooke and Taylor.
And sees a mirror of hope being torn between him and Liam. Exactly. It humanizes Carter, shows his deep insecurity. Because he knows Ridge's history of indecision isn't exactly a hopeful sign for his own situation, right? It makes the whole Forrester saga more than just gossip. It's like an active metaphor for everyone's romantic instability.
That's a great point. Okay, speaking of instability and accountability, let's talk Steffi Forrester. We have confirmed news she's back filming, and she is not coming back to quietly accept this.
Not even close. The casting update is key. Jackie Wood, Steffi, was back filming as of Tuesday, September 9th.
Which means screen time probably early October.
That's the usual lag time, yeah. So early October, expect Steffi to explode back onto the scene, ready for a fight, and her main target, Ridge.
The sources are pretty blunt. Steffi will lose it on Ridge. Why such extreme anger this time?
It comes down to a specific breach of trust. Remember when Ridge first started sniffing around her mom again? That phrase itself tells you a lot.
Yeah, suggests maybe unreliable behavior from the start.
Right. And Steffi raised the alarm then. She was worried. And Ridge apparently promised Steffi he wouldn't break Taylor's heart this time.
Ah, a direct promise to Steffi.
Yes. And Steffi had been skeptical all along. Now, her skepticism is totally validated, so she's going to confront him not just for dumping Taylor, but for lying to her. She's holding him accountable for his word and that broken promise. It seriously damaged their father-daughter bond.
Okay, so Ridge and Taylor are described as over and done, at least for now. But there's a little tease about Taylor's romantic future. Sounds like she won't be single for long.
Yeah, the sources seem pretty confident teasing that Taylor is expected to get a new love interest, which is huge for the long-term story, right? Keep a major character like Taylor romantically active keeps things fresh.
But there's a catch mentioned.
A big logistical one. The source material smartly points out the major challenge for the writers. There's a real scarcity of single, emotionally available men on the current cast list.
Good point. Everyone's tangled up already.
Pretty much. So this suggests that if they're serious about giving Taylor a real new love interest, we'll likely see a major new character introduced. Someone truly single, not a Spencer, not a Forrester, not already orbiting the Logans somehow.
The whole landscape needs some fresh blood if Taylor's actually moving on.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift now from Ridge's agonizing choice to Hope's indecision, which puts us right in Carter Walton's orbit and his state of, as the sources call it, desperation.
Carter's desperation really is the defining mood for his storyline this week. He is acutely aware that his engagement to Hope, which seemed so solid, is slipping through his fingers.
The sources say he's fighting to keep Hope Logan, but he's also starting to see the real possibility of losing her. Yes, exactly. He's really beginning to see there's a chance he could lose her. And that sense of, like, impending doom, it colors everything he does, every conversation he has this week.
And his panic seems completely justified, given Liam Spencer's determination.
Oh, Liam's not backing down. He remains determined to get Hope back and is not going to give up. That kind of constant pressure. It's bound to wear down Hope's resolve eventually, right?
Especially since Hope herself is described simply as torn.
Yeah, torn is the word used. Pulled between the security and consistency she has with Carter, maybe the professional respect too.
And the deep history, the family, the emotional connection with Liam.
It's a classic dilemma. She's paralyzed by indecision, and that paralysis leaves this critical opening, an opening that the sources show is being, well, pretty ruthlessly exploited this week by someone unexpected.
Okay, this is where the Daphne dynamic comes in. This subtle but potentially explosive shift. Daphne Rose returns, seemingly just to comfort Carter.
Right. On the surface, Daphne's playing the perfect supportive friend, the confidant. Carter needs someone to vent to about Hope wavering, about his fear of losing her. And look, here's Daphne, ready to listen, offer advice.
But the sources pull back the curtain. There's a hidden agenda.
A big one. The source is explicit. Daphne is discouraging him because she wants Carter.
Wow. Okay, so it's not a triangle anymore. It's a quadrangle, and one player is manipulating things from the inside.
Precisely. Daphne's advice, which Carter trusts because he sees her as this supportive outsider, it's fundamentally biased. She's actively giving him guidance that's designed to sow doubt, worsen his insecurities.
And maybe subtly push him towards making choices that actually widen the gap between him and Hope.
That seems to be the implication. When Carter complains about Hope being torn, Daphne isn't brainstorming ways for him to strengthen the engagement. She's more likely confirming his worst fears.
Like saying, well, if she's wavering now.
Yeah.
Or highlighting Hope's connection to Liam.
Exactly. Or maybe suggesting Hope isn't worth the fight if she's this uncertain. It's psychological manipulation. She's targeting his vulnerability, his desperation, trying to accelerate his emotional fatigue until he thinks this is hopeless.
Leaving him open to finding comfort with Daphne herself.
That looks like the endgame. So Carter, in his desperate state, is unknowingly getting relationship advice from his main competitor.
Which puts his engagement in serious jeopardy, not just from Liam, but from sabotage within his own support system.
Yeah, his relationship is being undermined from the inside out. That desperation isn't just about Liam, it's about navigating this landscape full of hidden traps set by Daphne.
That's a critical insight. Okay, let's shift gears completely now. We're moving away from romantic desperation and into something much, much heavier. The legal and psychological nightmare around Will Spencer and Luna Nozawa. This story carries the weight of real criminal jeopardy, real trauma this week.
This is where the stakes just skyrocket, you know? Beyond breakups into potential prison time and deep, deep trauma, the tension kicks off when Will Spencer gets a text message.
And it leads to a horrifying realization.
Horrifying is the right word. Will confirms Luna Nozawa isn't just alive. She's the person who committed this incredibly grave violation against him.
And the sources are extremely clear about the nature of that violation, aren't they?
Absolutely no ambiguity. Will realizes Luna is the same person who took advantage of him at that party, when he was too drunk, too incapacitated to know what's what.
They state clearly he would never have consented.
Explicitly. And they label the act for what it is. Luna molested him. This revelation just instantly transforms everything. It's not a secret affair story. It's a story about serious, life-altering trauma that Will is now forced to process in silence.
And the psychological weight of that trauma starts showing almost immediately, even before this core week of the 15th kicks off. By September 12th, people close to him are noticing something's wrong.
That's right. His girlfriend, Electra Forrester, gets really suspicious because Will's behavior is just erratic and anxious are the words used.
His sources even note he's not acting like a guy who's with the love of his life who just finally made love to him.
Which is such a telling detail, isn't it? It suggests the weight of the secret, knowing his attacker's alive, knowing she's texting him, plus the trauma itself, it's causing this severe, visible psychological reaction he just can't hide. His trauma is actively threatening his current relationship.
And while Will is reeling silently, trying to process this violation and the massive secret of Luna being alive, Luna herself isn't exactly lying low.
No, she's escalating. She's apparently getting even more obsessed with Will. The sources clarify she's a huge threat to Elektra's relationship, but crucially, it's not because Will has any feelings for her.
The threat comes from the secret she holds.
Exactly. Luna holds the power to expose that traumatic, non-consensual encounter to Elektra. Her behavior suggests she might even be leveraging the non-consensual nature of it for control over Will.
So Luna basically holds this incredibly damaging secret over Will's head. Do the sources suggest she might actually use it as blackmail?
They do. It sounds like she's fully prepared to drop these devastating threats. Maybe something like, imagine how Elektra is going to react when she finds out. She's threatening to blow up his life by revealing the horrifying truth. Not only that Luna is alive, but that Will was in bed with her. And even though it wasn't consensual, just the fact it happened is still deeply damaging to his relationship with Elektra.
And this leverage is even stronger because someone, Ivy Forrester, had wrongly reassured Elektra that Luna was gone.
Yes. Ivy told Elektra that Luna and that other guy, Rummy Price, were history, basically, in the past. So that mistaken reassurance just amplifies the shock and betrayal Elektra will feel when the truth inevitably comes out.
Okay, so Will is overwhelmed. He's anxious. He's holding this massive secret and this trauma. He plans to turn to his mother, Katie Logan.
He needs to tell someone. He plans to tell Katie that he slept with Luna, although it's a bit unclear from the sources how much detail he intends to share about the nature of the encounter, the lack of consent.
And Katie's potential reaction is complicated.
It seems both loving and deeply conflicted. Remember, Katie previously advised Will, don't tell Elektra what you did, probably trying to protect his relationship stability back then.
So the sources speculate she might actually repeat that advice. Keep the secret buried.
It's possible. She might double down trying to shield Will from the immediate relationship fallout, even if that means prioritizing silence over the full truth of the violation he experienced. It's a tough spot for a parent.
But Will's parents won't let him face this alone, surely, especially given how serious it is. Katie plans to involve Bill Spencer.
Yes, she's bringing in Dollar Bill. And both parents are expected to rally around Will as he faces adversity.
Classic response. Protect the kid.
Absolutely. Bill and Katie, whatever their own romantic status, they're united when it comes to protecting Will. They'll likely deploy all their resources, legal, financial, emotional, to support him.
And there's an interesting side effect mentioned. This crisis could actually bring Bill and Katie closer.
Yeah, the sources suggest this shared adversity, this desperate need to protect their son from Luna's threat, both the trauma and the potential legal issues she represents, could pull Katie back closer to Bill. It's like an unexpected, intense bonding experience for them amidst the chaos.
Now, this crisis doesn't just stay within the Spencer family bubble, does it? Luna being alive is completely tangled up in this huge, high-stakes criminal conspiracy involving Lee Finnegan and Sheila Carter.
Oh, the legal gravity here is immense. Luna being discovered isn't just a personal shock for Will. It's an ongoing threat to Sheila Carter's marriage to Deacon Sharp.
How so?
Because Deacon has been lying through his teeth to Sheila, sneaking over to see Lie and Luna, trying to manage the secret. His marriage is built on this deception, which is a direct result of trying to hide the bigger criminal plot.
So Sheila's facing danger on two fronts. Her marriage could collapse because of Deacon's lies.
And she could lose her freedom because of her own role in enabling Luna's deception.
Right. The sources say she was enabling Luna, but now she's worried.
Yes, she had been helping Luna to some extent, but now she's really worried about Luna's behavior, especially how Luna's volatility could blow back on her life with Deacon. When Sheila finds out Luna let Will know she's alive, which is a massive screw-up for their conspiracy, it become a big issue.
The main fear being prison.
That's the bottom line. The primary terrifying concern for both Sheila and Lee is the legal exposure, the prison risk. The source is crystal clear. Lee, Sheila, and Luna could all three wind up in prison for conspiring to fake Luna's death.
And Lee Finnegan seems to be in the most immediate legal danger.
Absolutely. Lee is staring down a whole world of legal trouble. Her actions, as laid out in the sources, are textbook criminal activity. Saving Luna snuck her out of the hospital to avoid consequences after the fake death.
That's aiding a fugitive, obstruction of justice.
All of it. Serious felonies. The sources predict she's going to become the new town pariah once this inevitably gets out. Massive damage to her reputation, her career, on top of potential prison time.
Okay, this sets up the absolutely central, terrifying question for this week, September 15th through 19th. The clock is ticking on Will's trauma, Luna's threats, the conspiracy. Who cracks first?
That's the core dilemma, especially for Will. Can he keep handling the pressure? Does he stay silent about being molested, trying to protect his relationship with Elektra, maybe following Katie's potential advice?
Or does the need for justice take over?
Or does his desire for justice, that maybe overwhelming urge to see Luna face consequences, to put her back in prison for what she did, does that override his fear of Elektra finding out the horrifying truth? If Will chooses justice, if he calls the police, that whole conspiracy just implodes.
And what about Luna? If Will does make a move, she's not powerless, right? She has leverage.
Massive retaliatory power. Luna knows the specifics. She knows how her death was faked. The source points out she didn't just get up and walk out of that operating room by herself.
Right, she needed help.
She knows Lai saved her, smuggled her out. She knows Sheila was involved in the cover-up. If Luna feels cornered, she could draw up threats not just about Will's relationship, but she could implicate Leah and Sheila directly to try and save her own skin.
Confirming the whole criminal chain.
And ensuring the dominoes fall for absolutely everyone involved. That makes Luna the most dangerous, unpredictable element in this whole pressure cooker this week.
Wow. Okay, we have covered a truly chaotic landscape today. From the predictable, yet still so painful, cycles of Ridge and Brooke, to Carter's really desperate fight for hope, now complicated by Daphne's sabotage.
And then landing on this massive, terrifyingly real legal scandal and the deep trauma involving Will, Luna, Lai, and Sheila.
It really is a study in contrasting stakes, isn't it? On one hand, you have the emotional turmoil they seem to constantly navigate, the betrayals they usually somehow recover from.
Right, the familiar pain. But on the other hand, you have actual criminal jeopardy, conspiracy, faking a death, molestation. The consequences there are absolute, irreversible.
So the most pressing question going into this core week is definitely Will's choice, isn't it? Silence and self-protection versus traumatic revelation and potential justice, which would also trigger the downfall of 3 other major players.
That's the crux of it.
So when you pull together everything from these sources, you really see this fundamental split happening. You've got the familiar, cyclical betrayals they all know how to survive, maybe.
Or at least endure.
Right, endured. But now, intersecting with that is this very real threat of legal consequences. Prison time, fines, ruined reputations, things you don't just bounce back from.
It changes the game entirely.
So what does this mean long term? Is the greater danger for these characters anymore the constant romantic entanglement and betrayal they live through? Or is it actually shifting towards the very real possibility of legal consequences, conspiracy, deception, faking a death that moves the whole conflict from just emotional stakes to actual criminal jeopardy?
That's the fascinating line the sources suggest is being tested, maybe even crossed this week. And that, I think, is what we leave for you to really mull over as these explosive events unfold. Where does the real danger lie now?